Okay, so what's going to happen next? Putin's a dead man, as we have concluded the last video. What's going to happen is this. Recently, Putin announced a video preemptively chastising his oligarchs and all those what he's called traitors, and all those potentially disloyal members of the Russian society, particularly those oligarchs who have assets abroad. And Putin basically said those people, their heart they do not lie with Russia. They lie with, where their mansions and yachts are, in Europe, in Venice, those areas. So that's a signal of a warning, but just like his signal in his troops mobilization around the Ukrainian border before February 24th. It's a signal that symbolize events to be happening. In that case, he will kill the oligarchs. Do not think Putin as someone who would wait for betrayal to happen. It's not in his character. And he's a smart man. He's a man of history, although his histories are all in a distorted, chauvinist, totalitarian perspective. He knows the Byzantine history. By the way, Russia has been calling itself the Third Rome, which is aptly named. Russia happened, as we discussed last video, not as a republic or as a voluntary union like the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth or the United Kingdom or the United States. No, Russia came to be, the very existence of Russia was founded on brutal conquest, sheer violence, despotism, on the destruction of the constitutions of the Muscovy, Ryazan, Novgorod Merchant Republic, the Kashan Khanate, blah, 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 all these previously free principalities and republics before the 15th century. So Russia happened from that brutal conquest and sheer violence. And that's precisely what Roman Empire came to be. Byzantine Empire as a successor of the Roman Empire since the Julian Caesar Octavian. But Byzantine Empire, Eastern Roman empires, basically, was a Easternized Roman Empire, so to speak, because the Western Roman Empire, no matter how seriously the Caesars suppressed the aristocrats, nobles, and republicans, it remained have fair amount of republican tradition, seen in its Senate, in its the Holy Roman Empire, which was a decentralized confederacy with a imperial diet, and that all those were heritage of a republican tradition. The monarch in the dissolved Western Roman Empire, in the Holy Roman Empire, its successor of the Western Roman Empire, even in Charlemagne's empire, they were not centralized very much. They rely on the compromise, the customary laws, and the constitution of old, ancient European tribes. Okay, why do I talk about it? Because the fundamental civilization, the civilizational tradition between Russia and between Europe, Anglo-American sphere of influence are different. And the European, and to a bigger extent the Anglo-American sphere, they inherited feudal liberty, decentralization. And the constitution was only possible in a decentralized society where you have check and balance, you have multipolar of power within such society. Russia's different. So in terms of Russia, it's just like Chinese Empire. It's not a matter of which faction has more power. It's a matter of have it all or have none. It's a matter of life and death. Like the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. So don't you ever think Putin don't know this. He knows that. And he's a student of history. He knows how the Byzantine and the Roman Praetorian guards kill their emperors. So I guarantee you he will strike the first blow. He will begin to kill the oligarchs. I feel, because like I said, by the end of this month, Russia will not have a modern civilization. I feel with that forecast, Putin would start to kill the oligarchs around the 20th. Right now, it's March the 16th. So Putin probably would start to strike the first blow against his domestic threats. Not necessarily his enemy yet, but domestic threats. You know, in this case, he's very much like the Mao Zedong, so to speak. Mao Zedong didn't really kill his sworn enemies. No. As long as he perceives you have an independent thinking, he perceives you are rich enough, you are powerful enough, you have your own apparatus, and you are not necessarily he feel comfortable with, he will kill you. So in that sense, he's Mao Zedong, but he's also a little bit like Hitler, the Knight of the Long Knife. And by the way, I want to point out this. If you are familiar with Putin's circle, if you have paying attention to Putin's his goons, his Minister of Defense, his Chief of the Intelligence, you see, Putin had that famous meeting with his cabinet and his, power center, and he was the emperor sitting alone behind a big desk, while all his goons sitting in a single chair far from him, like the emperor lecturing or emperor summoning his subject. You take a look at that situation. The most reluctant person regarding the invasion of Ukraine was his chief of intelligence. What does that tell you? I give you a pause. What does that tell you? Does it mean that is the weak link that would turn against Putin? No, absolutely not. That means the chief of intelligence is the good guy among the circle because he's the honest one. He's the most honest one. He's the one that dared to voice dissent for the interest of himself, of Russia, of whatever. But he's the only one that dare to voice very, very weak, maybe not even dissent, but very, very weak reservation regarding the invasion of Ukraine. So I instantly see this. He's the good guy. He's a good guy. But of course, he definitely has worked for the assassination of countless Russian dissidents. That's for sure. But by Russian standard, he's a good guy. He's the only one that dared to voice dissent, dared to voice reservation. He's the only one that was not enthusiastically supportive, right? Like the Nazi Germany or Communist China or the Antifa gathering in Seattle, right? So he's a good guy by Russian standard. Those traitors will not be those who have voiced dissent openly, will not be those who have, more or less apparently resisted Putin's war-prone agenda. The biggest traitors would be those who supported Putin most furiously. The biggest traitor would be those who kiss Putin's ass, would be those who show to be more very hawkish, very war-prone, completely supporting Putin. And in that meeting, you have this one guy, the Minister of Defense, Sergei Shoigu. In Chinese, we call him Shaoyigu, but Sergei Shoigu. That guy is ethnic minority. You can see that he's not white. He's a Tuwa people, right? And that guy, if you take a look at his Google images, you will see he's very, like a tough guy. But that guy is also very much pro-Putin, very much hawkish, very much in supporting of whatever Putin wants. He and other people who have been kissing Putin's ass, who has been showing support, these people will be the biggest traitor when Russian military was defeated, when Putin's power hung in the balance. Whoever used to support Putin most apparently, whoever used to kiss the ass of the emperor, whoever used to be a 100% ass kisser, supporter of the emperor's will and wishes, will be the biggest traitor that stab a knife into the emperor's stomach. Those, street protesters, or those, our beloved, cute chief of intelligence who have reservation against Ukraine, these people will not be the killer or the traitors of Putin. So that's my not even prediction. That's basically a lesson in human nature. Those most dangerous are not those who have openly fight against you or voice dissent against you. Those are knights. Those are honorable opposition, loyal opposition in the British parliamentary history. But those ass kissers, those who always satisfy your will and wishes on the surface, these people are the biggest traitors and will turn against you at the first opportunity. So let's see. But I'm very convinced.